Self-promotion has never been my strong suit. I was raised to be humble about my accomplishments. Now, to be fair, I do love the attention garnered from being on stage. I love the adulation and applause from a performance well done. However, I'm uncomfortable tooting my own horn. Now, as an independent musician trying to inspire attention to my creations, self-promotion is an undisputable part of the gig. In an effort to promote my song Perpetual Motion of Water on social media, I wrote a humble, self-effacing plea for the support of my new single. Please consider supporting independent music with a $1 purchase of my new single. All proceeds go to making more independent music and maybe a beer. I have a mentor who I started working with a while back to help me evolve on my spiritual journey. I want him to hold a spotlight to all the things I need to work on and help me work through them, which he is phenomenal at. Basically, I pay him to kick my ass when I need it and to call me out of my bullshit. His name is Greg Friedman, and I love and appreciate him very much. Being the supportive mentor, he follows my socials. He saw the post. He called. What the hell kind of post is that? Please, sir, 'tis Christmas. Don't you believe in yourself? Isn't your music amazing? I had to admit, I wasn't sure. I mean, I know I created it, and I know I like it, but amazing? Who was I to judge that? I was about to come face to face with a very important realization. I had forgotten to be in my power, to be who I was boldly, to be in my Paul David. Well, shit. Raised in a Midwestern, Scandinavian, Protestant household, the idea of putting myself out there, of being who I was boldly, was not something I was trained to do. The idea was terrifying. What if I was wrong? What if I wasn't amazing? What if I suck? I mean, that's just embarrassing for everyone. To be clear, I know all my faults intimately. I am very, very far from perfect. I know where every imperfection of my body is. I know where, as a musician, I'm weakest. I know physically I'm fatter than I'd like to be, far from the ideal I visualize for myself in my head. I know every single one of my bad habits. I know I have been unkind to people in my life, far from my walk with Jesus. I know all these things. How could I be bold knowing that all that existed within me? I seem to quite easily forget, in fact, that I'm a part of Source Energy. I have the power that creates worlds surging through me, and as such, what I create and bring forward is also created by Source Energy, the same power that creates the world I stand on. And how could the source of all create anything less than perfect, anything less than amazing? Well, shit. But how do you rise up in your power when you're acutely aware of all the things that are wrong with you? How do you be powerful when you feel so powerless? The answer is as simple as a slogan for a brand of tennis shoes I often wear. Just do it. Simple. But not easy. Well, shit. This required an overhaul of all of what I thought I knew about myself. Okay, fine. I'm a part of all that is. The part of me I call a soul is my piece of source energy, of God. Got it. But what is a soul? A soul is that ineffable thing that is the spark in our eyes. If you've ever looked deep into an animal's eyes, you see it there too, that something, that recognition, that spark. You've heard it said that eyes are the window to the soul. That's because through our eyes we recognize that spark, that light that animates us and illuminates us, that piece of God. If you've ever sat with a person as they transition back to non-physical, watching the process, you know when that spark is gone. One minute they're there, and the next minute the body is, well, quite frankly, empty. It even looks different. The color of the skin changes. It's as if suddenly the lights are off, and no one's home. I had the holy and horrible privilege of sitting with both my parents as they died. Each one's process was different, but in each case, I could tell when Elvis had left the building. There was a shift. Something, some essence, something I knew was no longer there. Now think of God as an ocean of consciousness. That ocean of consciousness forms eddies, and those eddies are subsets of that whole. Understand that those eddies would be what we call soul families. Groups of souls that come together to create, to experience. This is the pool from which your soulmates, your families, and your closest friends originate. Our individual soul is a single drop from those eddies of consciousness, which originate from the massive ocean of consciousness, all that is. Think of it this way. If you take a drop of water from any one of our oceans, it will contain all the ocean is, Now, not all the ocean holds, mind you, but all the elements that the ocean is. It's both an individual drop of water and the ocean itself contained within that single drop. When you place that drop back in the ocean, it reemerges easily back into the whole because its essence is identical to the ocean. There's no difference between drop and ocean. When a drop of water gets consumed, it doesn't cease to be, it simply changes form and rejoins the other drops of water as blood or a cell, or is peed out to rejoin all the different forms of water around the planet. All of that water eventually makes its way back to the ocean, and all that transformation and journeying is simply experience. That's us. That's what our souls are. We are a drop of consciousness in the ocean of consciousness itself. We do not contain all that source energy holds. We contain all that source energy is. We are powerful creators, you and I. Well, shit. Like the water, we don't cease to be when we shuffle off this mortal coil. We're just peed back into the ocean of consciousness. So, if we are what we call God, how can anything we do not be perfect? Oh, I heard it. But Paul David, bad things happen. And if all people are God, how could they do those bad things? And how can bad things be perfect? Our human ego is a lot like a teenager, isn't it? I remember as a teenager, I knew everything. As I got older, I came to understand that I really knew so very little. Sometimes I want to be young again, just so I can know it all. We came here to Earth to this incarnation to play with energy, to create our experiences from our God-given power as a creator. Every experience we experience is provided for us to grow as a soul, even what we might call the bad stuff. We are source energy experiencing all the various experiences that can be experienced. As source energy, we're eternal and never cease to exist. What we consider bad stuff is simply our limited understanding of all that is going on. I've learned as I've gotten older that everything, even the experiences I don't prefer, what you might call the bad stuff, well, it has served me. Now, being eternal and part of all that is sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? You know that doesn't just make you one of the cool kids. It makes you the cool kid, just wearing the you suit for a moment. Knowing this, living this, owning this, should change how you view yourself. Suddenly, you're a part of everything. Why would you ever think you weren't amazing, that you weren't enough? How might that change how you walk down the street? How might that change how you view all that you create? How might that change the interactions you have with everything you encounter in this world? Being who you are boldly is as simple as remembering you are part of the ocean of consciousness, and as such, the most powerful and amazing person in your world. Well, shit.